All right, hey everybody, sorry. We seriously have to realize this world is full of distractions. We have to just push through them, and distractions personally give me motivation and to seriously be like, no, you are not going to distract me. You are not boss. That's not happening. And that's exactly what just happened. So sorry about that. All right, so imagination. So, whenever I first, growing up as a child, I loved the imagination station. I'd love to play house and just, I would play school and stuff like that. Well, going into teaching, whenever I had taught pre-K, I loved watching the little kids in the imagination station, and they would come up with the most creative things and stuff. And you'd put random stuff in there, and that was part of the curriculum, but it's so that they can, grow their minds. They are the future. They have what's coming, and so, kind of fast forward, going through the child development course, it really opened my eyes as to, how that really helps develop a child, and how you're supposed to let them explore and become what God really has them in store for them. So, I was going through everything that I was last night, and I was, it was like one thing after another. As soon as I thought everything was going good, then bam, all of a sudden I get, the call about, if you can either put $7,000 down or you can wait a month and this and that. And so I'm like, you know what? You can't buy time. Time has no price tag. And really, it's not, I believe after a lot of prayer, that this is a test, and it's me trusting God. So I am going to, put the money down, and I am going to, just trust that God will work everything else out. My biggest fear was, if I put the money down, then that's less money I have to put towards, Life Light and the vision that I've been given. And that's everything that keeps on getting blocked is breaking me down. Then it's like, okay, obviously the furniture thing. So it's like, okay, well then how am I going to get beds and couches and this and that? We've been, 4th of July, there's all these sales, and even with sales, things were like a lot of money. And so I was like, man, this is tough. So given that decision yesterday was hard, but instead of asking a bunch of people, I consulted with one person and just kind of updated him on it. And it was actually the home builder. And I was just like, I don't know, man, I gotta just weigh my odds. I need to pray about it. So my exact words to him was, I'm praying, but I'm just not getting the answers. But it's because I wasn't being patient in the moment and really listening for the answers. But the more that I prayed on it throughout the night, I woke up this morning, and like I said, I heard that one song, and that one song changed everything. And it was basically about just trusting God. And I knew in that moment, like, you know what, this is a test. I'm going to trust God. I'm going to do that. I'm going to invest in this, and He will invest in me. He is going to use this, and it's going to be powerful. And I just know it. That's me having faith that I know things are going to work out. God would never give me something without having something bigger planned afterwards. And so it kind of ties into imagination. I felt like things were just blocking, keeping me from this vision, and I've been given every obstacle. But I've also learned throughout this journey that that's what God does, and that's also, he puts things there as tests, but then also the enemy puts things there to distract you and to push you away from those things, and you cannot let the enemy win. There's been times throughout this process where people don't believe in me, or they think it's not realistic and this and that, and I had shared that on one of my videos yesterday or the day before, I believe. But, you know, it's all about imagination. And there was a video from Steve Harvey that I had watched, and it spoke volumes to me. And so I'll kind of put it into my terms. But, you know, let's go back, I don't know, 200 years, 222 years. You know, someone was riding on a horse and got tired of riding on that horse from, you know, east to west, and thought, you know, man, we could really use this horse as power, and we could, you know, use those trees and we could build a wagon. So they built a wagon, right? And so then they just started going. They're like, oh, this is nice. Then they had that wagon, and then someone used their imagination and they thought, you know, instead of this wagon, wouldn't that be cool if we had something, you know, this is really starting to hurt my butt. And so what if we used that cotton or whatever and we built some cushion for it? And so someone came up with the cushion, and then they got that cushion, and then they started thinking, man, you know, this horse can only go so fast. You know, it's got some horsepower, but what if we put some manpower into that? And so someone made a Mustang. Okay. And so then they, you know, that was all someone imagining something, you know. It was like, and then they thought, well, you know, this Mustang gets me from there to there very quickly. However, what if I want to go further in less time? What if there was something that could fly? And then all of a sudden someone invented an airplane. And then they thought, you know, I'm getting hungry on this airplane. I can't eat because I'm going so far. And so maybe we should have food on the plane. And so someone decided to make first class where they would start serving food. You know, it's all about imagination. And, you know, maybe this vision of mine was originally imagination. I truly believe that it's something that God has placed on my heart, and, you know, it might have sparked from some imagination, but it is all a plan, and it's gonna be something. And everyone has a vision. Everyone has that thing that makes their heart beat faster. It is our responsibility to act on it, to make it into what we see it could be. But guess what? It's gonna be even more, and I am faithful of that. And, you know, it's one of those things that you have to have faith, you have to trust. And I just believe that my vision is very big, and I questioned why I was given such a big vision, but the more that I really have experienced through this process, like, I realize that God, without a doubt, is building me and shaping me and giving me these circumstances so that I know how to deal with other circumstances that are down the road. You know, there was actually a story on Colonel Sanders, KFC, right? He believed that he could make the best chicken. Okay, a chicken is a chicken. You got a chicken on a farm, right? Well, the better you feed that chicken, and I actually learned through whenever we were doing cattle. Yes, I worked cattle, and it was fun, but it was talk about test. But it's all about their mind, and I'm telling you, it's like that with everything. But, you know, if you feed those cattle, that goes for a steak too. You feed those cattle, you feed that chicken the right kind of stuff, the healthy grain, not just some stuff that's grown up and got weeds in it, right? If you feed them the right thing, if you know, talk to the plants, I know it sounds crazy, but for real, I mean, these are God's things that He's given us, the grain, the nutrition, all of that. And if we do that, here's another distraction. If we do that, then He will, He will take care of that chicken and make it so that by the time it hits the stove, it's the best chicken, okay? But, you know, Colonel Sanders, he thought, and he was telling everybody he's got the best chicken. Well, you know, fast forward, he was 60 years old whenever the franchise had started. 60. So that speaks volumes, and I gotta make sure that my dad knows that, because my dad is one person that he has his own vision, and it's kind of in a way going to, well, not in a way, it's going to kind of mesh with mine, and mesh, I don't know if that was a good word, but it's going to be a part of mine, and we've been able to collaborate and use both of our visions to come up with a bigger vision. And so you have to use those kind of things as tools. You have to be able to give your people the chance to share their vision, to see how it could possibly fit in with yours, so that you can create this team and make something big out of it. And it's going to, and I know it. And it doesn't matter who doesn't believe in you, because it took Colonel Sanders 60 years for people to start believing in him. But it's more about you believing in yourself, and you telling your vision and what you're imagining to the right person. It's all about timing and the right person, and just trusting and having faith, investing. You tell it to the wrong people, and you're going to just go in circles, or you're going to give that vision up, and then you're going to find yourself just not even having any kind of hope or faith or happiness, because that's what all of those are found on. And a lot of people tend to tell their things to their friends or their family, and not always does that benefit them. Sometimes those people that you think had your best interest are the ones who are actually shooting you down and don't want you to get further than they did. So that alone is something that I heard, and that spoke volumes. Everything's speaking volumes. Things are getting loud around here. That's funny. But yeah, I laugh at my own jokes sometimes. I made some notes here. So it says, don't let bills stop you from a business. Like, don't let those bills, that dollar amount, stop you from having that vision. You pay those bills, you got to, right? Like, God makes a way, but you know that He's going to provide in another way for whatever it is that you need. And so that's just really important. You also have to pray big, and you have to dream big, so that your vision can really come to. I had heard a story, and it said, it was about a lady. She had a car, and her car was an old hoopty, as people call them, and it kept breaking down. She kept on getting it fixed, making ends meet. She was just praying, like, oh, please let my car start today so I can get to work. You know what? How about you dream bigger? How about, instead of praying to get to work, you pray for, instead of praying to fix the car, you pray for a new car. You have to pray bigger than what, a lot of times you start questioning yourself, like, oh no, I don't deserve that. Me going into this whole house thing, I was praying, oh please, like, let me just be able to get another house, a lease. I started looking at leases, and then, something was like, no, why would you invest in someone else's house again? Like, I'm tired of, I've been in relationships and other, apartments and stuff, and that was me. And don't get me wrong, like, that gets people by, and whenever that's your season, and that's your season. But something inside of me was like, you know what? You stop paying for that rental, or paying for that rental. You pray for a mortgage. Like, you deserve that. And so I started exploring. People started talking about, get a new house. Why don't you do a new build? You're looking at these old ones. And I'm thinking, I can't possibly get that. And then I started looking at them, and I started talking to the right people, and they started telling me, like, yeah, there's ways, blah blah blah, yeah, you can do this, you can do that. I was listening to wrong people, I was listening to right people. You got to find the right people to listen to. You got to start believing in what you feel you deserve. You got to know what you deserve, know your worth, and believe it, like, without a doubt. Have that imagination. Imagination is an image, and it's an image of what you're gonna have if you work towards it and you go the right way. And so make sure that you keep your imagination, keep your faith, and something great will come. Right now, I got that question mark on there as the caption, but I know that question mark is going to be something really big, and it might be a question now because I don't know, but I'm believing before I'm seeing. I am having faith. I am keeping that dream that God's put on my heart, and I am keeping that vision, that image, and trusting that something beautiful is going to come. And so whatever your vision is today, just keep that image, draw it out on a piece of paper, have that vision board, have that journal, write that story, like do whatever it is, and do not stop. Do not let this distractions of this world get in your way. You got to feed the right kind of food into your soul. You got to get that junk out. And I mean that literally in more ways than one, but just know that you can't let those weeds get on that field. You know, Colonel Sanders, I bet you he had people out there picking them weeds, okay? You got to pick the weeds out of your life, throw them away, burn them, whatever you got to do. Know that chicken isn't going to be as good if they're eating the weeds. So you just believe in yourself, and you know, I said it yesterday, you're going to lose things along the way, but you're going to gain so much more. And I know it. So you should know it too. It doesn't take a rocket scientist, right? All right, y'all have a good day, and please say a prayer for my little man as we'll be going to the doctor here in the next hour. And all right, bye-bye.